This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, I'm Meteo Mundo Chief Meteorologist Rusty McCraney. Thanks for stopping by our latest video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the potential for some excessive rainfall throughout the week for portions of the Bahamas. We'll take a look at what's happening across the Caribbean for rain chances as well. And of course, discuss what could be some tropical development for the week ahead. Again, liking this video and subscribing to our channel really helps us out. So if you're getting some great information, we appreciate you doing that. Let's talk about the potential development, first of all, here in the tropics, showing you the wide perspective. We still have Tropical Storm Nigel moving to the north and to the west. On the heels of that one, we have another area of interest, another tropical wave off the west coast of Africa with a high chance of development later in the week, and then a very broad area that could be trying to develop in the Gulf of Mexico late this week. Low end chance of development there, but that is something, of course, we'll be talking about a little bit later on. Let's get into Philippe right now. Still a tropical storm, and all the information on Philippe is good. Right now, I'm going to put that on. You can see that winds are around 50 miles an hour with some higher gusts, but Philippe is forecast to stay a tropical storm over the next 5 days. Unlike Lee and Nigel, this is not going to wrap up into a major hurricane like that. This is going to stay a little bit on the weaker side. Again, over the next 5 days, the Hurricane Center doesn't really have much in the way of significant development as far as wind speeds go, so that's good news. The other great news, of course, is the track. Beginning that recurve to the north and to the west, well away from the Leeward Islands, places like Anguilla and St. Kitts and Nevis, and the U.S. and Bridges Virgin Islands like Road Town, on over towards Ponce and San Juan there in Puerto Rico. All good news. First of all, again, it's going to be a weaker system. It's staying hundreds of miles away. It might kick up the sea conditions a little bit, but as far as that goes, don't really expect any true significant impacts out of that storm. Let's get into the other area for us here. And again, this area has a high chance of development as we go into mid and late week, especially late week and into the weekend. Now, it's a low latitude storm, meaning it's trying to develop far to the south. And this disturbance, though, again, has that quick recurve signature to the west-northwest in a hurry. Once again, that would stay well away from the Leeward and the Windward Islands. If this develops, we would get the R named storm. There's no Q named storm in the Atlantic hurricane season, and that is Rena. And again, pretty deep into these names here, considering that it is just late September. So here is the GFS model. I'll put that into motion. You will see Philippe beginning to ride up to the north and to the west. And on the heels of that one, that other disturbed area, which could become Rena. Notice late in the period here, it almost looks like Philippe begins to stall out as it gets kind of over that Bermuda high. And then what could be Rena begins to actually get on the heels of Philippe. But again, this is all into the open waters, many, many hundred miles away. As a matter of fact, from the northern side of the Leeward Islands to the center of Philippe, you're looking at around 800 miles. So again, no direct impacts out of those two for the areas I just mentioned. We'll monitor the situation, but it's good to see that these models are picking up on a quick recurve to the north, well away from both the Windward and the Leeward Islands. Now, to the Gulf of Mexico, late into the week, the opportunity to see development, but I'm not really anticipating it. It doesn't look like there's going to be a high opportunity for this area to develop. What's going to be happening is, and I'll show you this in a second, there's going to be a lot of moisture, a lot of tropical moisture coming in from the Northwest Caribbean, which across an old stalled frontal boundary could develop a broad circulation. More than anything, it's just going to enhance the tropical moisture in play, and it is going to be very wet for the peninsula of Florida, the Northwest Caribbean, and the Bahamas, especially the Northwest Bahamas, mid to late in the week. Look at all of it. This is the enhanced satellite imagery. Look at all of that moisture beginning to move through places like Kingston, Jamaica, on over towards the Cayman Islands. It'll going over Cuba, and all of this is lifting up to the north. So we are going to get very wet in the Bahamas here starting in the next couple of days. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you that Bahamas rain. Again, this is the GFS model. I'll put it back into motion. Here's the bottom line. You should expect at least the opportunity for showers and a rumble of thunder in your area, especially in the northwest side of the Bahamas, Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, Abaco, New Providence, Andros, and Eleuthera. Real good opportunity for showers and a few storms each and every day. And there is the opportunity as well to get some pretty impressive rainfall totals. Again, this is tomorrow. Look at all the heavy rain moving off the east coast of Florida and again into Walker's Key and Grand Bahama. As you get a little bit farther south into the central Bahamas, it's not going to be as prominent, but still the opportunity for at least some scattered showers each and every day. Again, taking you into the early part of the weekend. You can see again, I'll just take this model and loop it back through. So for Arthurstown, Georgetown, some rain, but not as heavy and prominent as I expect in the Northwest Bahamas. In the same situation for the Turks and Caicos. We'll get some scattered showers developing there. Just not going to be as widespread, not going to be as heavy. We can go ahead and include Hispaniola, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico in that same forecast. It's going to be very hot in places like San Juan. We'll talk about that coming up because they're just not getting any breaks as far as temperature-wise for morning lows. And then back into the Northwest Caribbean. As I mentioned, look at this huge slug of moisture coming into play. That is what could interact with that frontal boundary late in the week to try and bring at least a broad center of circulation. But more than anything, this is just a lot of moisture being thrown in. So it's going to stay wet for places like Kingston and into the Cayman Islands and over towards the Yucatan Peninsula as well. Now, one thing I can do, I'm going to zoom back into the Northwest Bahamas, is I'm going to stop this particular product here, and I'm going to actually go to the total precipitation. We're going to take a look at the rainfall totals in the Northwest Bahamas for the week ahead. And you can see there's your scale up here. Anything into the white, we get above 3 inches of rain. So again, this is, the opacity is 100%. I apologize for that, but you can see, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so we can get Freeport back on the map here, but you can see how much rain we could have, especially for the northern side of the Bahamas by the end of the week. And I'm going to go ahead and pause that at the end, bring it back to the end. And so again, you're looking at some pretty significant rainfall totals here. Let's see, I even have to look at the scale myself, around 5 inches of rain in that pink area. So for Walker's Key, again, we can have some pretty heavy rainfall totals, and it's actually even worse the farther north that you go. Obviously, this is just the open waters of the Gulf Stream, but it just shows you the amount of moisture that comes into play. So again, as I mentioned, for Grand Bahama and for Abaco down towards Nassau, again, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain is a possibility for the week ahead. It becomes a little bit lighter, as I mentioned, central and the southern sides of the Bahamas. It looks like we could have a little bit more heavier rain back towards places like Haiti, Port-au-Prince, on over towards Santo Domingo, where they could get 3+ inches of rain. And then look at this moisture, my goodness, in the northwest side of the Caribbean. Again, it's a little bit hard to tell because we don't have some of the geography on here, but that's the slug of moisture that's going to be coming in. Now, all of this rain is offshore, sans Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, but it's just showing you how much moisture I expect coming up from the Northwest Caribbean to be wrapping back into the northern Bahamas. So excessive rainfall is a possibility in some of the northern Bahamas. We'll keep you updated on that through the week ahead. It's more scattered for the next couple of days, but then that moisture really comes into play beginning on Wednesday, and it'll be a high chance for showers and a few storms, good tropical downpours. Any one area in the northern Bahamas could get more than an inch of rain each day starting on Wednesday, at least through Friday, but I expect it to be pretty wet at least early in the weekend as well. For San Juan, we'll have kind of on and off showers through the week, but here's the problem. There's actually an excessive heat warning that's still in effect. It's not because of these afternoon highs. They're only in the mid and the upper 80s. Morning lows right now are only in the lower 80s. You're just not getting any break in the heat for our friends in Puerto Rico in the overnight hours, so just be very cautious. So that rain will try and temper some of the heat. Best chances will be on Tuesday and Thursday. And for Kingston, as I mentioned, because of all that moisture, it's going to stay fairly wet. 50% chance for scattered showers and a few storms for today and tomorrow. Rain chances actually go up late in the week. And again, there could be some heavier rainfall within some of those bands moving across the Northwest Caribbean as well. Obviously, a lot to talk about. We'll keep you updated with some of these rain chances in the course of the tropics. Again, if this information is helping you, please do us a big favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button as well. We'll give you the latest right here at Meteo Mundo.